T-shirts appeared in the United States when they were issued by the U.S. Navy sometime around the Spanish-American War. Their primary use was as an undergarment beneath the uniforms to prevent the itchiness of the outer clothing. It got its name from the shape the shirt portrayed looking like a T, and it was adopted by labor workers for its lightweight fabric and warmer climate conditions. The t-shirt didn't become a fashionable wardrobe till the 1960s, when it became a means of self-expression as a wearable art as well as to convey commercial advertising, souvenir messages, and protest. Once the t-shirt hit the 1970s, it became as popular as it is today. The t-shirt message that will mainly be used and referred to is support the troops. This message was placed on t-shirts soon after troops went to fight the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and it was part of a huge movement in support of the military. The argument I want to address here is this message being placed on a t-shirt is a form of war rhetoric. The message brings forth identifications, ideologies, and affiliations with the war and wearer that can be interpreted in a variety of ways. Some examples of this can be seen through blogs. Blog writer of the elusive meaning of support the troops, Steve Roberts, says it is a phrase so empty of explicit meaning that it cannot represent a clear and collective commitment. Another blog written by an Army infantry mom, the means of support the troops is to be aware. A third blogger of Buzz Flash Editorial says, support our troops means I am an American. Each one of these bloggers had their own interpretation of what support the troops meant to them, but it doesn't necessarily proclaim all the meanings. However, it does show the different perspectives out there when looking at support the troops as a message imprinted on a t-shirt. In a broader sense, Robert Stahl, assistant professor of speech communication at the University of Georgia, believes support the troops on a t-shirt is examined as a nexus of larger symbolic associations, where it is only a symptom of systemic rhetorical restructuring of the citizens' relationship to war. What he means by that is people associate themselves during times of war by forming an identity, which is shown by wearing support the troops t-shirts. The message being on the t-shirt also establishes a form of symbolic association with a broader conceptualization of the war. But the meanings of the message is interpreted by the wearer. People have a certain relationship and understanding with what they wear because it's part of their body, and they can interpret the message in a way that fits their beliefs, but the message doesn't show the individual interpretation. Instead, it portrays a certain commitment to the troops. This is why imprinting support the troops on a t-shirt is so effective, because it not only portrays the affiliation support to the country, but respectfully being done through a time of war. There may not be the wearer's interpretation on support the troops on the t-shirt, but the affiliation with the war and the troops is. Joel Penny, professor at Montclair State University, believes it's an act of displaying a social movement symbol publicly, not only identifies the wearer as a member of the movement, but also helps to increase that the movement actually exists, creating publicity that may be instrumental in increasing membership. Penny also finds the message to be a form of persuasion that is called body text, which is the hybrid effect achieved by comparing the physical body of the wearer in a public space with the t-shirt visual marketing of his or her identity. This is very similar to Stahl's earlier interpretation as being a larger symbolic association. And interestingly enough, having a message on a t-shirt being so controversial but yet significantly affecting can be perceived as a means of persuasive advertising. Stephen A. Seidman, professor of Roy H. Park School of Communications, finds t-shirts as a means of advertising that boosts enthusiasm for the supporters and sparks interest for non-supporters. This is seen not only in social movements during a time of war, but during political movements during campaigns. All in all, what more interactive way is there in supporting and establishing certain identities during a time of war than putting on a t-shirt with support the troops on it? You are proclaiming to the world that you have a certain connection, relationship, and belief to the war and our troops, and you are advertising that enthusiastic patriotism that is significantly relatable. Yes, there are many interpretations to what support the troops means, but there's still this defining factor that the message is referring to the free country we're living in and the troops fighting for that freedom.